I literally just got a message through from one of our recruiting clients in our Done For You agency this morning where they made a successful placement through our outreach efforts. Also wanted to show you a couple of results from some of our recruiting clients that we've been able to generate. We also had a client here secure a contract for 15 technicians that were needed, and that was their very first contract with us. Worked very well. Another client closed a £4,500, around a $6,000 or $5,500 a month deal, just through a cold email. Clients getting contracts signed here. Obviously, you can see keeping us posted. Getting very good replies from the cold email outreach. We've even had clients sign possible retainer deals in recruitment, which is almost unheard of, with 20 plus positions. Many clients saying we want to go pedal to the metal soon, basically needing to hire a full-time recruiter to keep up with the demand we're generating. Also had clients closing over $200,000 worth of fees just in 6 months. Another £6,750 in sales, and securing meetings with private equity firms, which obviously is a long play and it's hard to get, but we're able to do this for our clients. Now, the reason we're able to do this for our clients is due to one simple thing, and that is intent-based outreach. Okay, every single agency out there is basically reaching out at complete mass with no real intent-driven personalization. The way to flip this on its head and get results from your outreach is by making it intent-based. And even better, using your own, if you're a recruitment agency, candidates to leverage this intent. Here's what I mean by this. Let me show you a simple process that we're actually running for one of our clients right now. And I'm going to walk you through the exact clay table that we're using and exactly how you can do this yourself, right? Let's say you're a recruiter, or let's say you're a lead gen company and you're trying to fulfill for recruiters, because I know a bunch of people watching the video will probably be curious about that. I'm going to explain to you exactly how to do it. So what we need to do is not do the same as everyone else. Everyone else is going after companies that are hiring, just posted jobs, right? Maybe received funding. Everyone's going after these companies. We don't want to do that, because unless you have a candidate that is going to absolutely blow all the others out the water, you're probably not going to win the business. So we need to go around a different angle. We need to do something that's a little bit more complex. An approach that I'd recommend that's been working well for our clients is finding when an employee leaves company. Finding when employee leaves, right? And this employee that leaves, you need to have a very good candidate to pitch as a replacement. Okay, I've got to give a shout out to Eric Nowalowski. I learned this workflow from him probably around over a year ago, and we've been using it since, and it's been working fantastically. So I want to show you how you can create that from scratch if you're doing this yourself as a recruiter or a lead gen agency. You don't just have to be pitching recruiting services to this, you can also be pitching other services if they're relevant to that position. So let's take when an employee actually leaves. Which employee should we look at? Let's look at the head of sales here, okay? So what we want to do is find a bunch of companies with a head of sales who has just left, and let's target the CEO, owner, founder, director, or you could also target the CRO, the Chief Revenue Officer. But for this case, this example, let's target just the CEO, founder, owner, director, the proper head of the company, right? And what we want to do is obviously do an analysis using AI on the previous head of sales of their LinkedIn, right? And then what we want to do is use AI to match our candidate to the previous head of sales and give it a score. Okay, so we might have candidate 1, candidate 2, candidate 3. We want to find the greatest match compared to their experience, compared to like the knowledge in the industry, all of these things, to their previous head of sales. Okay, now this will help us make a suggestion of the candidate that we feel is the closest fit to what they're looking for. So we're going to find a head of sales that has just left, and hopefully they still have that open position. We're going to find someone who's just left within the last 3 months, and we're going to pitch the closest candidate we have by using AI to score it to this company. Okay, so let me walk through exactly what this looks like. Also, if you're curious, we have our testimonials and our case studies on our company YouTube. If you want to look, we've got ones here, how we've generated ROI for our clients, how we've doubled their revenue even for some clients, and how we've helped them generate multi-six-figure deals. If you're interested in that, take a look. If not, let's get straight into the actual workflow itself. So I'll open up Clay and let's walk through this step by step. So let's create a new table, and I want to show you exactly how we can do this. First step is actually around find people. So what we want to do is find people. In this case, we want to look for obviously a head of sales who has just left a company. Then we'll find the CEO, owner, founder, director of that company and pitch to them. So what we want to do here is we want to actually type in the head of sales. Right, head of sales, let's create that. Let's target, for this example, the United States. Boom. What we want to do in the experience is maximum 3 months in current role. The reason why we want to do that is we want to enrich this person's basically work history and find the previous employer they were just at, indicating they've just left them 3 months ago. Obviously, we'll cross-reference this and double-check, because sometimes people take a year out, or it may not be the most recent company they've just left. So we'll want to double-check that. But once we have that, then we can pretty much just search for this. If you want to make it more specific, you can obviously go for company attributes, the type of company you're looking for. Let's say our sweet spot is around companies between 11 and 500 in size. For our recruiting clients, this is probably going to get you the best results. Now, if we continue and import this into a new table, I'll show you exactly what it looks like. So let's move this. Cool, so perfect. So we have a list of people who are head of sales who are just brand new to their current company. So what we want to do is add an enrichment and find the previous company they were just at. So what we want to do is enrich profile here, enrich their LinkedIn profile. Whilst we have that, then obviously we can find the previous company that they were just at. It's actually enrich person. This is the one we want to be looking for based off their LinkedIn profile. Perfect. Continue to add fields. And what we'll be looking for is their experience. Right? So for data, return of the first item, second item. So we ideally want to be looking at the second item. So the first item is going to be their current experience, right? So I think we can toggle this. I don't know if it's up to date, if it's actually pulling in this data, or I think this is giving an example because the company's Amazon. But if we just go for second item and we return the URL of the company, let's return the company name, and let's return the end date of when they left that company. Okay. Then if we just save this, and I'm just going to run this for the first couple, I'll show you exactly what this looks like. So we can see that Damien he was previously head of sales at this company, right? Fruition Group. So if we look at this one, we can go to their experiences, boom, and open this up. He was a business development specialist. So this one, you can see they're actually at the same company, right? And the company before, they were at Gamma Alloys. So what this shows us is the previous experience. So we see people that have also been promoted. We don't want to reach out to people that have been promoted. Looks like it's the same for Colin here. Colin has been promoted by the looks of it from a executive vice president to an associate head of director. Right, so let's just, same company. So Damien is the only one here who's actually changed the job, and this is something that you need to note when you're building these tables, is you don't want to say, hey, I noticed that so-and-so just left, moved on, because they've been promoted, they're at the same company. And if you just do it this way, and you just find the second most recent experience, it's not going to work, right? So you need to make sure these companies are different, the org and the company experience here. Let's run a couple more, just to show you what this looks like. But so far, Damien is a great fit. And he left on the 1st of August, so it's still relatively recent. And you see these two are different also. So these two have also changed their actual company that they're working with, which is great. So now what we want to do is go on this URL experience and find the CEO, owner, founder, director of this company, right? If this company is not the same as this one. So let's go to actions, let's add an enrichment, and let's type in find contact. So let's go in here, find contacts at company. This is the one we want to go for. Save the results in this table. You can save them in another table if you wish, but I prefer to do it all in one table. URL experience, perfect. What we want to do is just quickly add in this run settings, use AI. So do not run if, and then we'll put in org is the same as, and then company experience. So you see company experience. So if it's the same company they've just left from to go to, basically been promoted, we don't want to target them. So let's just make sure this formula is legit. Yes, so it won't run for these. Yes, formula is correct. That's cool. So then what we want to do is add in the job title keywords. We want to go after the CEO. Let's type that in properly. CEO, owner, founder, director, all that good stuff. Then we can just continue to add fields. Let's get their name back, and let's get their LinkedIn profile. And let's save and run this for these first 5 and take a look. So let's save these. And what you'll see is as I press run on all of these rows, by the way, you can do this automatically, it says for some of them, run condition not met. Like I said, this is for the ones that have been promoted, so this is perfect. Some of these companies are very large, the ones they've just left, but nonetheless, it's been able to find the right people. So let's just log in very quickly here and see what it's found for us. So it's found the CEO and founder of the company that they have just left, which is fantastic, okay? From there, what we want to do is obviously message this contact. We want to find their email address, and we can create an email to them saying, hey Sarah, I noticed that Damien, your old head of sales, or in fact we can actually include the old job title here. If we go to experience 1 and here, this case is a principal recruitment consultant, so not a head of sales. So I noticed that Damien, your old principal recruitment consultant in cybersecurity, has just left to move on to head of sales and GTM at company name. Just curious, are you on the lookout for a replacement? Here's some people I have in my network that could be a good fit, right? Obviously, if you want to use AI to match the CV of your candidate to the previous contact, you can do that as well. But you can see some of these ones. So this one was a director of sales and operations. This one was a chief revenue officer. So these bottom 2 look a lot more applicable to the actual jobs that you're searching for rather than a recruitment consultant. We could reach out, for example, to Ian and say, hey Ian, noticed that obviously he's the CEO here, which is the company we want to go for. Hey Ian, noticed that Jamie, your old head of strategic sales, has moved on to Rapid Scale. Not sure if you're on the lookout still for a replacement, but I've got some candidates here that I think would be a great fit. Boom, 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 and list them in. And this way, our outreach cuts through the noise. It means it's really specific to this company. It looks like we've done the research. I can literally just press play and do this for tons of rows right now. Add this into Instantly, add this into Smart Lead, and we can be firing off tons of emails. So this is a really good way to pretty much automate that process, make sure that your emails actually stand out. It could be the same thing if you're doing marketing agency services or agency services. For example, if the chief marketing officer has just left or a marketing manager has just left, you can also pitch your services. It could also be the thing for an AI service. If you're pitching AI, you could find admin assistants who have just left companies or receptionists who have just left, and you could pitch AI as a replacement instead. So this isn't just limited to recruiting. There's a bunch of different ways you can do this. But I wanted to give you basically a very quick video explaining exactly how this works and how you could use this in your own workflows. Obviously, you can continue to find the emails of the contacts in Clay itself. If you're curious on how to actually use Clay to its full ability, I've got a free school community that you can join. Click the link in the description. And I've also got a Clay affiliate link as well. If you sign up and get a paid plan, you also get 3,000 free credits, which transparently I get too, which would be great. So if you want to sign up, feel free to use that link. If not, no worries. Hopefully this video has been useful. Like I say, if you have any questions around this, drop me a message on LinkedIn or join my free school community to hit me up there.